Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Game Changer. I'm Mariam Zia. Tonight we'll delve into the ongoing developments in the port city of Gwadar. Gwadar, which is the strategic jewel in the southwestern city of Pakistan. Of course, when we talk about Gwadar port, this is of strategic significance when we talk about China-Pakistan economic corridor. And when we talk about the ongoing developments, the recent developments are that two important projects have been inaugurated recently. Yesterday, just Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar has inaugurated water desalination plant at Gwadar. Of course, we know that Gwadar and Baluchistan in general has had seen water issues in the past, and this is going to tackle that issue. We will be talking about the development surrounding this important project. And another important project that was inaugurated was Pak-China Friendship Hospital. This is also an important need that would be met when we talk about this significant development. We will be talking about these developments and also the road connectivity when we talk about China-Pakistan economic corridor and how this is going to be impacting Gwadar and the developments when we talk about the region. And of course, when we talk about Gwadar port specifically, this is going to be emerging as a regional hub for trade. And of course, we'll be talking about all these developments in today's program. But later in the program, we will be talking about the ongoing situation in Gaza. Of course, the genocide that is happening and the international response to it is a very complex situation. How the geopolitics is playing into all this situation and this dynamic, we will be talking about all this in today's program. To discuss this and more, we are joined in the studios by Mr. Shehjar Khan, who is Senior Analyst. Welcome to the program. We're also joined by Mr. Naveed Aman Khan, who is Senior Analyst. Welcome to the program. And we're joined online by Mr. Humayun Khan, who is Senior Analyst. Welcome to the program. Mr. Shehjar, let me start with you. Of course, when we talk about Gwadar, we know that this is of strategic importance when we talk about BRI or China-Pakistan economic corridor. Can you tell us about the significance of recent developments in the broader picture of CPAC?
So, Mariam, there are like two major developments that took place. As we discussed in yesterday's program, the Prime Minister visited the COP28. And then right after the COP28, yesterday he made a stop over to the Gwadar port to inaugurate two very important projects. And I'll tell you how these are connected. One is a 150-bed hospital, and the other is a desalination plant, which has a capacity of cleaning 500,000 gallons of water, which provides clean drinking water to the people of Gwadar. So this is significant in the sense that Gwadar port was always supposed to raise the standards of living of the local population over there. Historically, Gwadar is like one area which did not even have desalinized water. So people used to take the water from the sea and basically put it openly and then desalinize it themselves. Other than that, they were using barrels in which rainwater used to like stay and then used
and
to
animals and humans were drinking from the same, of course.
So this is the significance of CPEC, in which China, when it used this model to bring billions of people out of poverty, this was because of the infrastructure projects and the investment that the Chinese government did on their people. And now through the BRI project under the CPEC, the Gwadar is dubbed as the crown jewel of the whole CPAC project, and it's raising the standard of living of the local population. Now they will be able to access state-of-the-art healthcare. They would have access to clean drinking water. Their standards of living will be raised, and they will develop stakes into this project as well. When this hospital is developed, the new airport is about to be inaugurated as well. Highways, business centers. This will also provide a lot of employment opportunities to the local population as well.
Of course, we will be talking about those economic opportunities for the youth and of course for the local communities later in the program. But talking specifically about this seawater desalination plant project, what issues do you think it is going to be addressing, and how crucial were these issues, and how do you see the role of China in this important project?
Mariam, I have been to China for many times, and I have experienced and observed development level and that approach. which is the need of the time as far as the CPEC project is concerned. China has done remarkable progress in Xinjiang province, right from Gwadar to Urumqi to Kashgar, Yining, and many other cities of that province. From GB to Gwadar, we have not completed that level of development work which was the requirement of CPEC. But nevertheless, now we have some advancement or development in Gwadar regarding the road network or the hospitals or the desalination plant or the other infrastructure is being developed there. Gwadar is the city which should have been made in an international city.
Of course.
Because of that.
And that is the ultimate aim.
Definitely.
Of course.
Because it is the port city of Pakistan, and the CPEC project will be materialized from Gwadar. By all means, either from Gwadar to China, either from Gwadar to Europe or East Africa
because
or the other parts of the world.
The strategic location of Gwadar is as such.
Definitely. One desalination plant is insufficient. There should be 3 more because of the requirement of the population. But nevertheless, it is very important and it is blessing for them at this stage. One is. As far as the state-of-the-art hospital
So, like you mentioned that there is need for other water desalination plants
more.
as well.
Yes.
3 more. So, are there some talks or discussions going on for inauguration of such projects or for paperwork for these projects
Not yet,
as
but
well?
I think Pakistan will have to play its own role.
But this is good start.
Yes, this
Of
is
course.
beginning. It's a blessing for the region. And Pakistan will have to play its own role for the development of the entire Baluchistan. In particular, we are talking about Gwadar. The facilities of education, health, water, the other, the civic development is the need of the population living in Gwadar and the surrounding districts of Baluchistan.
Right.
Because I have experienced and I have observed that China has provided every sort of facility to those living around that Silk Road and CPEC. We will have to cope up our pace, or we will have to match our pace to that development which China is providing to the Chinese in the part of China.
Of course. Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar also mentioned that the modernization of China is example for other countries. Of course, the way China has brought people out of poverty. But moving towards the other important project, that is Pak-China Friendship Hospital. Mr. Humayun, how do you see how significant is healthcare infrastructure for the people of Gwadar and of course for other surrounding areas in the region and in the province?
Thank you, Mariam. I guess this is one of the most important projects for the people of Gwadar area, not necessarily only for the Gwadar city, but for the entire coastal area. And for a very long time, people from Gwadar, Pasni or Mara, they used to take their patients either to Quetta or to Karachi, which was very far away. So this was a very long desire of these people that we should have a good hospital here. So in order to understand the significance of this hospital, it's located obviously at the heart of the Gwadar city. It is being constructed on 68 acres of land with $100 million including aid from the Chinese side and also from the Pakistani side. And as Shahyar earlier mentioned, 150 bedded hospital is already ready, and it's going to be 300 bedded hospital once it's completed in the next phase as well. There are going to be 6 different blocks. There's going to be nursing and pharmaceutical institute. There's going to be a medical college. There's going to be a central laboratory, and then there's going to be other allied facilities. So for the people of Gwadar and the surrounding area, I guess this is a blessing for a very long time. And government of Pakistan has taken it as a point that we need to provide them. And, as of now, there are like 3 or 4 major demands in Gwadar or in Baluchistan. They need health facilities, they need education facilities, and they need jobs for the youth. So I guess with this second phase of China-Pakistan economic corridor, and you also need to see that Prime Minister is so much committed that instead of going back to Islamabad after 9 days of hectic trip to UAE and so Qatar, Kuwait, and then again to UAE 2 times attending COP as well, he came directly to Gwadar. And that also shows the commitment of the government for the people. And being a Balochi Prime Minister, I guess, hailing from Baluchistan, he is also sending a message that, this area which has been neglected for a very long time, now we will be implementing more projects here. And in terms of port development, there are many other projects. International airport is almost operationalized.
Of course, we will be
most
talking
likely
about
end
the
of December.
connectivity, road connectivity as well. But Shehryar, when we talk about opportunities for youth, in what sectors do you think opportunities would emerge specifically in Baluchistan province when we talk about China-Pakistan economic corridor, and how positive is the initiation of such projects like water desalination and hospital infrastructure development?
So Mariam, as we have envisioned the whole role of Gwadar in the overall CPEC network, it's supposed to develop as a trade hub for the region.
Of course.
And as we know, Gwadar is situated at a strategic location which connects the Central Asia to the Middle East, to Southeast Asia, and this is like a connectivity hub for the whole region, if you look at it from a geographical angle. Other than that, this like trade hub will be providing port services, shipping services. There will be business development hubs as well. Main head offices of major international manufacturers will be housed here. There is already a free trade zone, special economic zone. So as you can like see in the next like coming years, this will become a connectivity as well as a business hub. And I can also like envision that these like small cities and towns from across Gwadar or near to the south of Baluchistan, I see a lot of like youth moving towards the Gwadar to find their opportunities there.
Right, but what kind of strategies must be employed to ensure that youth are actively participating in all these economic activities and are not detracted?
So historically, Mariam, as we know, if we look at the overall
Because
economy,
skill set development is really important.
Exactly. So all the universities in Baluchistan, even like Karachi and like Sindh, these like universities need to synthesize the students and the faculty of Pakistan to like tell them about the opportunities that are emerging. Historically, unfortunately, a lot of like people of the Pakistani youth, they basically look outwards towards job, and they look outwards when it comes to IT services. So this is like now developing as an economic hub. So we need like business graduates, we need like trade experts, we need engineers, we need like people with like shipping and port knowledge. So all of these sectors will be blooming in the next coming years. So the recent graduates or the youth from Baluchistan, from Sindh, they will have a golden opportunity to move to Gwadar and like offer their services. Other than that, it's not just like jobs. So the standard of living in Gwadar will be enhanced
of the
greatly.
local communities.
So the surrounding cities and like towns that have historically been marginalized, as Himanshu Saab was also mentioning, they had to like travel 700 kilometers, 800 kilometers to access state-of-the-art healthcare facilities. So under this project now, this area will become a hub in which like people will have health services, they will have education, and they will have job opportunities as well.
Right.
I see a very bright future.
Right,
for the
but Naveed
area.
Saab, of course, Prime Minister also said that preparedness is the key when we talk about China-Pakistan economic corridor and engaging youth in these projects. What kind of initiatives, when we talk about vocational training or other skill sets, are required for people of those areas, and are there some discussions or projects already in place to provide or inculcate those skills to the youth or to the local communities?
Oh, definitely, Mariam. The vocational institutions are set up in Pakistan on different different economic zones, but we need to enhance the capacity or the capability of all this infrastructure as far as the requirement of the skilled or non-skilled requirement of the projects are concerned. The most important thing is in Baluchistan, the mining sector. Baluchistan is, very rich in mining.
Of course, full of natural resources.
Everything is available there. And government of Pakistan, especially Prime Minister, has categorically said that Pakistan will have to depend upon its mining sector as well to pull itself out of that financial crunch. So because of that mining sector development, the local population, either skilled or non-skilled, both, will be facilitated and will have an opportunity to have jobs based in Baluchistan, different parts of Baluchistan along those economic zones, number one. Number two is IT sector is very important as far as the development of Baluchistan is concerned. The level of on international level.
Right, and how youth must be encouraged that they become catalyst for these technological advancements for the region?
Definitely. First of all, those deprived parts of Baluchistan will have to be encouraged on the government level, on federal government level as well. The students should be given stipends or should be encouraged to get education in schools, colleges, universities. And one important thing is the university setup should be established in Gwadar, of that international level university, so that the Baluchistan people should have an opportunity to get education in Gwadar. Half of their population, they move towards Quetta. And those who are very far from Quetta cannot move for higher education to any other city. So Gwadar, being the hub of the economic development for the future of Pakistan, we will have to establish medical colleges and different universities there, government-sponsored, government-owned universities there, so that we provide that level of education or training to the local population of the province.
Of course. So, Mr. Mayo, how do you think that CPAC is playing what important role when we talk about inclusivity of these projects, of course, so that the youth from diverse backgrounds can actively participate in these diverse projects that are, or developments that are taking place within the region, within the Baluchistan province?
I guess there's a lot of debate and discussion on this particular question that you've asked. Last month, Prime Minister was in China to attend the Belt and Road Third International Cooperation Forum, and there they signed another 20 different agreements and MOUs, in which one of them was to develop Gwadar port in a very faster way, and two Chinese institute are going to help achieve that in terms of its planning, construction, operation, logistics, and industry. As of now, 270,000 jobs have been created with different projects. Pakistani youth has taken those jobs. And those jobs are not at a very low level. From a top level to mid-level to lower level, all these jobs are given to Pakistani. Then the skill development has improved a lot. Pakistani now laborers now knows high-tech development in terms of construction, road construction, dams construction, other infrastructure-related construction, light engineering, and and with the second phase kicking recently, now we are developing special economic zone, and Gwadar is also one of the prime example where we have two special economic zone, one which is very near to the port, which is a smaller one, and the bigger one is 2,281 acres worth of land. Around 50 Chinese companies have already shown interest. The construction has started there, and this is going to basically change the destiny of this area. When you have more than 100 or 200 companies coming here and investing in different projects, they're going to create a lot of jobs for the local people.
Right, but Mayun Saab, let's talk about the road connectivity. Of course, how do you think that CPEC intervention has specifically eased the travel distance and, of course, has led to trade in the region? Can you tell us about some specific projects or initiatives?
In terms of the road network that Pakistan and China have built together, now distance from Peshawar to Karachi has reduced to at least 15 to 16 hours. It used to be for 2 days. Same goes from Gwadar to Quetta. If you want to travel from one end of Pakistan to another end, the distance have shrunk, and especially thanks to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the investment in infrastructure. And that is basically something which we are now going to capitalize in terms of the connectivity. And as Sharyar earlier was mentioning, this is This is supposed to be a hub of connectivity, not only for our country, but also for the entire region. Now, Pakistan is talking about South Asia and Central Asia connectivity. With that, we are also getting into this second economic venture or gesture by the government, which is Special Investment Facilitation Council. So SIFC and China-Pakistan Economic Corridor together will basically change the destiny of not only this region, but also will attract billions of dollars in investment from different countries, especially one of the colleagues earlier was mentioning the IT and mining sector. This is one area where Baluchistan has rich mineral resources. Chinese have already working there. Road infrastructure is already laid. Port is fully operational now. Now we need investment in this mining sector. And once the Prime Minister has just come back from UAE, there was a promise of $25 billion from UAE and $10 billion from Kuwait. Imagine if $35 billion worth of investment, and if half of them is in IT and mining sector, the destiny or the economic landscape of Pakistan could change in a very, in no time, in the next few months, I would say.
Right, and talking about that, of course, Shehjar, when we talk about, Prime Minister also mentioned about the investment of or trade of $36 trillion in and around China. And what role does CPAC play in all these investment opportunities, and what is the significance of Gwadar? What kind of initiatives or projects we will be witnessing in future, and what kind of preparedness is needed by Pakistan?
So Mariam, as we've discussed many times, that China is now set to become one of the largest economies of the world. Across China, the trade volume that is being discussed is around $36 trillion. Out of those $36 trillion, you have a very pertinent question, that how poised or how ready is Pakistan to take advantage of this global supply value chain, and what role Pakistan can basically play to become an active member of it. CPEC will play a very important role, as this really curtails and shortens the distance from the I would say eastern side of China and the western side of China. It gives direct access to China to transport and export its goods through the Gwadar port to the Middle East, and also to through the Middle East to Europe, and other Central Asian areas are also connected. So when it comes to road infrastructure, when it comes to air infrastructure or air links, Gwadar will have the international airport. It will have linkages directly to China through the road network, and it will also give an opportunity not just to China but to Central Asian countries as well to basically develop their linkages through Afghanistan and also take advantage of the CPEC route. Other than that, other than the whole Chinese trade, we're also looking at Middle East as well, especially the GCC countries.
Right, you talked about other routes, but sea route is also very important.
Yes.
What measures are being taken to make it fully functional?
So this is one of the reasons why Gwadar is called the crown jewel of this region, because the only other port that is available here is in Dubai. Other than that, the Chabahar port that comes into the news often is is Iranian, and obviously because of the international sanctions on Iran, it's not very lucrative for a lot of countries to take advantage of that at the moment. And obviously, even in the whole overall BRI network, we don't see Chabahar as a competitive port. We see it as a sister port as well. So there is no competition there. When I basically see the global geopolitical developments in the region, I also see the importance of Gwadar also increasing by the day. A lot of Central Asian republics, who are very landlocked, they do not have any other option other than Gwadar to basically have any
that
other
is the only
exports.
route.
Yeah. Now it's up to Pakistan on how we can make it lucrative, how we can basically bring the message out of the world that this port is ready to become an investment hub, connectivity hub as well. And because of the free trade agreements that we have, the trade area that we have developed, it's very lucrative for international. And as Humayun Saab also mentioned, that around 50 Chinese companies have already set up office in the business hub over there. Once this trade volumes starts increasing, a lot of other countries will also like see opportunities
Of course.
here, and they would also want to develop trade linkages with these companies that have like established their offices.
Right, and lastly, Humayun Sahab, when we talk about Gwadar Port's significance, how do you see the future development and of course the projects, how they are going to be contributing to the economic and strategic significance in the long term when we talk about future prospects of Gwadar Port?
I guess Gwadar Port, as Sharyar Sahab also mentioned earlier, it's going to be a trade and economic hub, not only for Pakistan, but for the entire region. But particularly, it is more important for Gwadar because there is an industrial special economic zone which is being built near to the port. Then there's also another industrial park or special economic zone built close to Quetta as well, which is called Bostan Industrial Zone as well. So once these two industrial zones are completed, there is a relocation effort which is being done by Pakistanis and Chinese, where Chinese companies are relocating in this area where raw material is very cheap, where economic and labor facilities are good, and where ease of doing business is getting better and better. And then access to international market is going to be just like at an arm's length. So imagine the amount of economic activity which will be generated here, the amount of tourism which will come here, the amount of connectivity this region can bring to the entire region. This is going to change the strategic outlook of not only Baluchistan but Pakistan.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Humayun Khan, for joining us in today's program. Of course, when we talk about water desalination project and of course the significant other project of Pak-China Friendship Hospital, these important projects and other developments are going to be a key player when we talk about uplifting the living standard of Baluchistan people and the local communities in Gwadar and beyond, and ultimately within the region. We will take a short break here, and when we come back, we will be discussing about the evolving situation in Gaza and Gaza genocide. Welcome back. Now we will be talking about the evolving situation in Gaza. Of course, after the expiry of truce, the death toll is rising by every hour, and more than 15,000 Palestinians have been martyred, and of course more than 70% of these people or killings are of women and children. And when we talk about Gaza, of course 80% of Gaza's population has been displaced as of now. Of course, we will be talking about these developments in this segment of the program. To talk more about it, we are joined online by Dr. Hasnain Javed, who is Senior Analyst. Welcome to the program. Dr. Hasnain, how do you see the evolving situation specifically when we talk about after the truce has expired and that toll is rising by every moment?
It is completely inhuman. I would say, Ms. Mariam, I would say it is completely inhuman. Before I talk about you have telling the audience that what is the situation, what is the number of the martyrs, what is the number of the children, what is the number of the mothers, what is the number of the people who dies in Gaza. But let me tell you, Israel, Gaza, and what term genocide mean? Where are the whole word? I just wanted to play on that. So I just wanted to mention a genocide mean, what they want, how they need to understand the genocide mean under the international law. So the term genocide was first coined by the Polish lawyer Raphael Lemkin in 1944 amid the honor of the Nazi Holocaust. And Lemkin was a Jewish, originally defined genocide as a destruction of a nation or ethnic group encompassing the both physical killings and assault on the spirit of the group, including its social, economic, political ways of life. Lemkin defined laid the foundation of the 1948 UN Genocide Convention, which specified the genocide can occur with intent to destroy in a whole or in part a nation, ethnical, racial, or the religious group. And according to the Article 6 of the Rome Statute for the International Criminal Code and the Article 2 of the Genocide Convention, genocide involved act act committed with the specified intent to destroy, either in the whole or in the part, national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. My question to the whole world, what is this? And now what they call the genocide. Now they are moving from the north side to the west side of the Gaza. And still they are thinking
Of
that
course.
this is not the genocide.
Dr. Sen, very pertinent point raised by you, and the assertion that the genocide we are witnessing is in 21st century. How do you see the role of United Nations? Of course, there are significant punishments when we describe about this definition of genocide described by International Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocides, and Article 2 outlines it. So how do you see the role of United Nations and why it has failed to respond? Are there still assertions that this is not genocide, this is not ethnic cleansing being done by the Israel?
You are putting up a very important question. Now, this is the question to the whole world, that still they are not understanding what is genocide. They are, still wanted to understand the definition of the genocide. I'm giving the genocide by the UN resolution. I'm giving the definition by the Jewish themselves. What under the Holocaust of and how many articles on them. A week into the Israeli war on Gaza, 800 eminent scholars and practitioner of the law sounded the alarm about an intimate genocide in the territory. What made the warning both powerful and chilling way that so many legal experts came to this sober conclusion together, it is not claimed that can be made easily. So the director of the New York office of the UN High Commissioner of the Human Rights stepped down. Can you please believe that they have stepped down? And the UN High Commissioner of the Human Rights stepped down because he wrote in his resignation letter, we are not seeing genocide unfolding before our eyes in Gaza.
Right, but UN has also distant...
And the organization that
of course, very important point,
powerless to stop it.
Right. A top, of course, official of United Nations has stepped down when we talk about genocide, but UN has distanced itself from this top official who is talking about and advocating for the rights of Palestinians. How do you see this situation evolving? And there is, of course, questions and divide that we are witnessing in United Nations as well. How this is impacting the people and displaced people in Palestine, in Gaza?
So, Mariam, a few days ago we were expecting that the truce that happened between Hamas and the Israeli forces that would lead to a permanent ceasefire. Unfortunately, we didn't see a permanent ceasefire. Now Israel is back to like bombing refugee camps, it's bombing hospitals, and it's also like bombing residential properties as well. Since the truce expired, Israel has killed around 800 more Palestinians, mostly children, mostly civilians. Other than that, there were like, before this like war started, there were 35 hospitals in Gaza. Now only 9 of them are functional, because the rest, either Israel has bombed them or it's not like providing fuel, so those hospitals are now
and circle of death is created by targeting hospitals.
Exactly, because like that is like one area where all the injured and all the even the ambulances have been targeted. So this is like what is creating this circle of death, and this is the worst form of atrocities I've like seen conducted by one military organization on a local population in my lifetime at least. And it's like very devastating to watch. When we talk about the role of the UN, unfortunately the way the Security Council basically operates, top 5 countries have veto rights. And unfortunately the US has been using its veto to stop other countries from condemning any other, calls for ceasefire or humanitarian support. What we now basically see is that there is like some support going to the displaced people or refugees that have like now gathered to the south of Gaza, but this is not enough. And a lot of like
no, but they are targeting south as well.
They're targeting the refugee camps. And
announcements are being done in threatening tone by, of course, Israeli military. Naveed Saab, how do you see this situation? And specifically when we talk about the role of United Nations Security Council, it is going, it is supposed to be playing a key role when we talk about international crises or when we talk about genocide. What challenges do you think United Nations Security Council is facing? Of course, one of the key challenges Sharyar also mentioned is, of course, the powerful countries. But do you think there are still some diplomatic avenues available that could be explored when we talk about, of course, statements by Qatar as well, and of course the statement by Turkish President as well to try Prime Minister Netanyahu in International Criminal Court? Do you think there is still a way out?
Definitely, there are ways out. Number one, we will have to make UN effective. It has become very ineffective, and it hasn't delivered at any stage of this fight, on this war, or in any dispute whichever occurs in the entire world, like in Ukraine or like that. But as far as the efforts are concerned, yes, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Turkey are making remarkable efforts for bringing peace in the region. But the efforts should be enhanced. And one more important thing is this: what is the reason of this war should be addressed. The reason is that oil and gas reserves which are unexplored in the strip of Gaza, and Israel wants to capture those oil and gas fields from Gaza or from Palestine. This is the main motives which Israel is now implementing with the backing of America and Great Britain, because when in a G20 conference a new corridor was designed or disclosed, that strip was in fact the target to find that vacated from the Palestinians or to be diminished from.
Of course, and of course the crisis that is emerging before our eyes has historical seeds. Of course, but Dr. Sen, when we talk about the role of International Criminal Court, of course this is a significant forum when we talk about prosecuting the criminals, war crimes. Do you think there are still some hopes for taking Israel to International Criminal Court? And what challenges might the countries or nations that are planning to do so would be facing?
When these sort of the things happening, you must have to, find out the hidden ways, because openly everybody is, categorically asking. If I talk about on October 27, 120 of the General Assembly 1993 members voted in the favor of an immediate humanitarian truce, with 14 countries voting on a number and 45 abstaining. However, the truce only lasted for the number of hours. So when this type of humanitarian crisis, and nobody is asking that there is behind the game. So we need to find out the behind the game. But let's talk about those. Mr. Sharyar has asking about all these things. The death toll has passed 11,000 more than, and the 9 of the Gaza 35 hospitals are still operation. Now, what we need to do and how we can go on to that part on October 9 when announcing a full blockade. Gallant described the 2.3 million people in the Gaza as a human animal. The Heritage Minister Alayu and said no humanitarian aid should be provided to Palestinian civilians, and there is no such thing uninvolved civilian in Gaza. So remember the 56-year military occupation and the 16-year of the siege of Gaza and the continuous dehumanization of Palestine. While what is happening in Gaza share common feature with other previous situation of the genocide, there is also a particular element unique among the district of the future are the enduring encompass to the Palestine land and the relentlessly siege on the Gaza and staggering proportion in the Palestinian nation already displays the various act of the ethnic cleansing. So this is what going on, and let me tell you one more thing, that the Jerusalem court will begin to to hearing the case which focused on the several corruption charges against the
Yes,
Netanyahu,
yes.
and the trial was pushed on the emergency order for the country justice minister following the Hamas attack on the Israel on October 7.
Right.
And Netanyahu has been charged with
Right,
the
of
fraud,
course, the local
bribery,
politics
breach,
of
trust,
Israel
and 3
and
cases
corruption
in the
charges of PM
2019.
Netanyahu are also going to be in play when we talk about the regional dynamics and regional politics. Thank you very much, Dr. Hussain Javed, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharyar Khan, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Mr. Naveed Aman Khan, for joining us in today's program. Of course, when we talk about a situation in Gaza, the complexities surrounding this conflict are huge, but the key element remains that the death toll is rising by each moment, and the situation in Gaza demands our empathy and the international community to respond effectively to the human turmoil and the humanitarian crisis that we are witnessing in Gaza. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care. Allah Hafiz.